Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg, and guess what? I have a car that really is on fire, not literally, but on fire when it comes to pre-owned sales. Is this car right here. This is a BMW M3. This particular one is an M3 Competition, and it's that G80 generation of the mighty M3. But before we get into this, Isle of Man green, all-wheel drive, twin turbocharged beast, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard correctly. If you look at pre-owned performance cars, one segment that really is going nuts is that G80 specific generation of the BMW. And it kind of makes sense because with this generation, the performance is clearly there. A lot of people were on the fence about the style, but I think a lot of people have come to love the look of the G80 M4 and the M3. And then on top of that, the way you could spec it, the different colors, a lot of people are really liking that. Now, in this segment, there are other competitors, of course. You know, you could look at the Cadillac Blackwings. You could look at what AMG brings to the table. But what I want to find out is, hands down, if you're looking for a pre-owned performance car, do you go, especially with this M3? Why don't we go ahead, let's dive into it and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I love the color. Named after that iconic street time trial race in its namesake, the Isle of Man TT, where they run the motorcycles for decades. That's what this color represents, and it's such a bright metallic green, absolutely looks stupendous. Now at the front of the business, they did a great job on the headlight design. This one has the BMW laser lights. That's one of the options that people want to see, because this does have the executive package, what they want to see on their G80. LED halo daytime running lamps, like the way they have that to kind of make that connection, but the laser lights really have such a unique look when they're illuminated, but also you notice a little bit of blue inside that easily identifies these headlights as being those BMW laser lights. Now what's interesting is that the M3 has been around since 1986. It was the E30. That was the generation that started it all. And for many years, you bought an M3 as a 4-door or a 2-door. Now, what's fascinating is that as we get closer to modern G80 generation, that's when they decided to have both a 4 Series M4 and a 3 Series M3. The M4 has 2 doors, the M3 has 4 doors. But according to BMW, it works for them. Now, I like the way on the G80, they really sculpted a massive corner air curtain to direct that airflow down the side of the vehicle. Little bit of gloss black on that splitter extension, but everything else painted that Isle of Man green. Now, as we move in a little bit, you do have more functionality in those corner vents. I like the way it's got that honeycomb grille style. And then, of course, the biggest styling cue are the massive grills. M3 Competition badge. You do have a forward-facing camera. And then you have these gloss black horizontal slots with a little bit of flat black. And I always like the way BMW sculpts their splitter into the actual bodywork. Now, let me know in the comment section if you're still hung up on the schnoz of this BMW M3. Like I said, I've grown to, I wouldn't say love it, but I definitely like it more than when it first came out. And what's interesting is that M3s and M4s that are race car versions, like that you would find in the IMSA WeatherTech series, they look pretty freaking tough when they have their wider body work and everything. Now, as we rise up, of course, the BMW badge, so much history when it comes to that brand, Bavarian Motor Works. I dig the way they do the indentations in the hood. It would have been cool if these were heat extractors to help drag that hot air out, but it's a good looking hood. I love the body lines, very crisp. That's something about German style, is they do some really crisp style to their body lines, and I really like it on this G80. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna notice this M wheel. This is a forged aluminum wheel, 19-inch wheel up front. Tires are gonna be 275 on the width, 35 series sidewall. We got those massive black M branded Brembo calipers. So we got our M branded wheel and calipers. Rotors are two-piece, cross-drilled. That's gonna help cut down on heat buildup. And they're steel rotors. Now you can option carbon ceramics. This one does not have it. Of course, we got X drive, which this is rear wheel drive base, but then it sends power to the front wheels. And the wheels are staggered. So we have 19 inches up front, and you'll see when we get out back, it's a different size. But let me know what you think about the style of the wheel with the Isle of Man green. I'm telling you, this green really, really pops in the Florida sun. Now, coming down the side, you do have an M3 badge, but I have to zonk this. This is, I guess, supposed to be a vent, but it's not. Would have been nice if that was a flared, functional fender vent within that flaring of the fender. Now, you do have gloss black on the mirror caps. They are power folding mirrors. Love the way they build the arrow into the mirror. 360-degree cameras. From the side of the vehicle, you can see the overall dimensions. This is not a full size. This is not as big as an M5, of course, because an M5 is a 5 Series. Now, up top, you do have a standard size sunroof. No carbon fiber roof on this one. And you have gloss black around the window frames, but then you have color matched on the door handles. Very, very aggressive side sill extension. And one of the things I love about this car, I actually prefer the M3 over the M4, as crazy as that sounds. I love the rear flared fender area after the rear door. It just looks absolutely menacing. Now out back, what do we got going on? Like I said, up front we got the 19-inch wheel. Out back you have 20-inch wheel in diameter. Look how big the rotors are in the back, but the big zonk is you don't get Brembo calipers on the rear. That's just a floating caliper in the back. That's not high performance. So I am gonna zonk that, but like I said, it's rear wheel drive base, and then it'll send power to the front wheels to give you that all-wheel drive action. If you're wondering what's the tire size, 285 on the width, so you got a little bit more rubber to meet the road. Now, as we come around back, gloss black trunk lid spoiler looks good. Nice little kick up there. M3 Competition badge, LED lighting. And then from the rear, I absolutely love it. You got a nice looking rear diffuser, that quad tip M performance exhaust. It is an active exhaust, so you can make it louder, you can make it quieter. But having the black tips, especially the 4 of them, just gives it that nice, tough performance look. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood of this M3 and see what's powering it. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, there's more bracing in this thing than what you would find on the Brooklyn Bridge. But you'll notice how they tie in the front to where your shock absorbers are located, and you can see the wires. That's for our active suspension, adaptive suspension. Nice strut tower brace, and then a decent engine cover, that BMW M Power. What do we got going on, though, underneath that cover? It is that 3-liter twin turbo straight 6. Now, because this is a comp, you get more horsepower. 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. The only zonk is there's no manual available if you go competition. It is an 8-speed automatic only. That's a ZF 8-speed automatic. The great news is 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, quarter mile in 11.5 seconds at 125 miles an hour. Top speed is limited to 180 miles an hour. MPGs, 16 in the city, 23 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs right around 3,870 pounds. So for a 4-door sedan, definitely has some really good numbers. And I know, yes, we live in a world where if you don't have 900 horsepower, your car's slow. Nice to see a good amount of horsepower that's manageable and usable. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All Hi guys, we're inside this 2021 BMW M3 Competition. That's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about that pre-owned status of the M3 and M4. I see them all over the freaking interwebs for sale, and they're changing hands all the time because, like I said, there's a group of them, a large group, that have come to love these cars. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what about this one? I like the Isle of Man green. I see you have the orange interior. How much is it? This particular one, asking price is $72,000. But let's see what this particular one brings to the table. To the door panels. Right off the bat, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. You got your soft touch black material, and then you have the bright orange with the contrast stitching. It definitely stands out, that's for sure. You do have your ambient lighting built into that silver trim, the Harman Kardon sound system, and a door pocket large enough for 2 Wiener Schnitzels and a root beer to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, we got the soft touch, we got carbon fiber, silver trim, and ambient lighting. Work your way in, you got your infotainment system screen well within reach. And then, of course, it's full touchscreen, so you could do all your different things that you want to do. There's our Isle of Man green looking good. You could check all the different status updates of your vehicle. We can go back, and then one of the things that you could also do is bring up the M menu. This is where you can set up your M buttons, your head-up display, the instrument panel, or if you go into your modes, this is where things get really good. So you got sport, you got road, and then of course that's going to change everything from steering input, throttle input, all those goodies. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera clear as day. You do have your trajectory lines, you do have your 360, automated parking, backup assistant. So they got you covered there when it comes to technology. And then we're right back where we started. Dual climate control, real buttons and switches. Heated seats, no ventilated seats. That's a bit of a zonk at this price point. Got a real volume knob, your usual BMW controls. More carbon fiber. Somebody spilled a bucket here. Clean up on aisle 6. 2 cup holders, a USB-A, wireless charging, and a 12 volt. This guy right here is going to control your 8-speed automatic with the M embossed, Motorsports, and of course the colors. Let me close this, that's bothering me. You got your iDrive controller knob, the M3 Competition badge, bright red start-stop button, more carbon fiber, ambient lighting. There's that orange soft touch. Open it up, you got a USB-C, and you have enough room in here to where you could put, I would say, 4 Bavarian cream donuts. If you put 5 in here, you're gonna bust cream all over this beautiful bright orange interior. Seats, love the leather. The M badge lights up at night. The perforations, the bolstering, electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, of course, and then we have our power shade for our sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a wheel that has carbon fiber on it. Come on over, let me show you. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. Love the M3 Competition sill plate and a pedal box right out of a BMW race car. Aluminum dead pedal, brake, and throttle. We have our seat controls, easy to get to. Love that easy way of configuring the seat. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, the leather, the M contrast stitching. There's the carbon fiber. It is a heated steering wheel. You do have your 2 configure buttons for your M modes, and you do have paddles on the back that are carbon fiber to go up and down that ZF 8-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel, and then you got that beautiful 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster showing all the graphics, all the readouts, and you have a head-up display that's about almost 11 inches in size. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat, because guess what? We got 4 doors for more of your friends. Let's pack them back there and see what space there is. All right, guys, back seat time, and because this is a 4-door, real easy to get in and out. It actually, the back seat space isn't too bad. I've been in worse, I've been in better, but you know, it is what it is, as they say. You do have that orange interior everywhere, so Let me know in the comment section if you're liking it. Surprisingly, no pockets on the back of the seat. So if you have a calzone, hot and fresh right out of the oven, you're gonna have to put it in between your legs, and you get hot mozzarella on those family jewels, you're gonna be scarred for life. Back command center, you do have AC vents, which are nice, your temperature, and 2 USB-Cs, no heated seats or ventilated seats. I'm 6 feet tall, feels good. Love the way that you can pull this down. Got your easy access to the trunk. And then we have, of course, the motorsport badging on the seat belts. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that trunk, see if there's a trunk monkey, and then we're gonna go for a spin on throttle, of course, in this M3. All right, guys, time to get into that trunk. Hit the button, nice electric assist. You're gonna be greeted to 15 cubic feet of space. I love how low the cargo floor is. Of course, you got your Nürburgring Nordschleife Twinkie box holder on both sides. Actually, this is for the Twinkies. That's for your 12-pack of Yoo-Hoo. Love Yoo-Hoo, especially after doing a track day. And then those rear seats fold down to give you more room. Push the button, comes on down. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this all-wheel drive twin turbocharged M3. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 BMW M3 Competition, and right away, say what you want about the color of the seats, the comfort of the seats is phenomenal. It really, they support you well, they hold you in well, and I guess the look is what's the debatable part, the color. But I have it all ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna use those carbon fiber paddles to go up and down the ZF 8-speed automatic. And if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go! Ah! Nice. You know, you get why people like these so much. You're definitely getting a lot of performance, Steering is very, very quick. I wish it was just a tad heavier so I could get a little bit more feedback, but the actual turn-in is very, very quick. Brakes feel good, even though we don't have the carbon ceramics. And then, of course, you're getting the power to the ground so effectively because of the all-wheel drive. So here we go. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle! Now, one of the things I don't love is the pumped-in sound. The pumped-in sound, it sounds way too artificial, way too fake, and I just wish they wouldn't do that. How about just make the exhaust a little bit louder? Just a little bit louder. Then you don't have to worry about pumping in sound. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But the ZF 8-speed shifts so well. It's like a hot knife through butter. Whether you're going up the gears or down the gears, the information on the display is so easy to read. You actually have 3 separate tacks. One on each side of the speedometer and your gear indicator, and then one within the head-up display. But the car is so balanced, the suspension tuned so well, and you wouldn't think that you're driving a 4-door car. It does not feel like you're in a 4-door M3. So whether you go M4 or M3, you're gonna love the way this thing handles and the way it drives. It's crazy because you do get some pops and some bangs out the exhaust. And I know people that buy these G80s love to get the crackle tune, which gets a little obnoxious. But I just wish it had a little bit more from the factory. Let's see how a U-turn goes in one of these. Wow, look at that. Didn't even have to throw it into reverse. That's pretty respectable. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Wow. Turning is good. On the brakes. the thing I love about this car is that when you come out of a corner, you're able to just lay it down, and she takes it and gets the power to all four corners to give you this amazing acceleration out of the corner. But the downshifts, really, really nice. Keeps the car so balanced. Just that pumped-in sound is not my favorite. And I'm just being honest, just not my favorite. But visibility out the front is great. Out the back, just fine. Very controllable. Seats are holding me in just fine, and there are carbon buckets that you can get that will hold you in place even greater than these, but then it makes daily driving a little bit more challenging. With this, you know, the leather, the comfort, everything just equals very, very well. Now I am getting a bit of glare off that carbon fiber cover to the cup holders. Just something to point out. I don't know if you can see, it's like lighting up my face and blinding me. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of wet weave carbon fiber. I prefer, if you're gonna put carbon fiber in the interior, just put dry weave, then you don't get the glare. But this thing is a freaking beast, man. It is a beast. Stops on a dime and gives everybody change. But he's like right there, that pumped in sound, not my favorite. Just not my favorite. But smooth, comfortable. Really builds the boost very linear. Torque delivery, very linear for a turbocharged power plant. But remember, with the twin turbos, it works out so well. And that straight sixes, I'm so glad have made a comeback, because it really gives you nice balance underneath the hood. And the pistons are firing straight up and down rather than in a V formation. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this G80 M3 Competition. We're gonna get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a BMW M minute. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways. It was fun going on throttle, wasn't it? Here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, definitely got to thank Miro and the rest of the crew getting us this beautiful Isle of Man green with that orange interior of an M3 Comp. Let me know in the comment section. If you're going pre-owned performance and you need 4 doors, are you going this route? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. I'll come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood, working the camera like a champ. He just got back from his trip, had a good time, and he's got the tattoos to prove it. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.